So one of the best ways to create a visualization that people can really immediately understand is to create a map and lay your visuals over top of that. Display your data by state, by city, something like that. And these are some examples here. They're very popular, they look good, they're easy to use and easy to understand, and people seem to really like them. And if you're looking for a very powerful way to display your data, this could be the way that you're looking for. So let's go through some of the ways to do that. We'll cover a couple of different methods and from start to finish and show you how it's done. So first we need to find, as always, some good data. Now, I was looking through some of the open data sets that are available on the internet, and I stumbled upon New York City open data. And if you want to get to this site, you can just Google New York City data, and I believe it's the first link. And it has sort of a repository of all of the publicly available data that New York City collects. And I was clicking through, and I found one under recreation, and it was the directory of basketball courts. Now, if we bring this up, we'll notice that a lot of people have looked at it. It's public information, so you can pretty much do whatever you want with this. And it shows that the link to the site is an XML file. So when we click on that, you'll notice in the browser we've opened up the XML file, and all that is a particularly indexed. It's a specific style of indexing for the data, and it's easy to understand what's going on here. If you just look, there's maybe 7 measurements for each facility. The ID, the street, the name, and most importantly for us, it actually has latitude, longitude coordinates built in. Now, you don't have to have the latitude, longitude, but if you can find it, it's great. If you can find a city, a street address, the zip code, you can generally create some pretty good maps from that. But if you want to really zoom into street level detail, or if you're maybe plotting things that aren't on an actual street, maybe they're in the middle of a field somewhere, something like that, in the middle of the desert somewhere, and you want to plot where it actually happened, having the GPS coordinates is a little bit better. So this has everything that we need. So we need to find a way to get this information into a mapping tool. Now, the first one we're going to use is what's called Tableau. Now, Tableau is free, and it's pretty easy to use. And if you just type in Tableau, you can get to the site here, and there's a Tableau public, which is kind of hidden, but that's the free one. You put in your email address, it'll send you the link, and you can install it. And the way Tableau public works is that it has quite a few functions. You can do most of the things that the full version can do, but all of the data that you produce with it, the visualizations and things, are basically uploaded to the internet under your profile, and they're basically publicly available for other people to see. So it's kind of designed as a way to, the reward for them for letting you use the service for free is that you're kind of boosting the database of publicly available visualizations. And I kind of like it because it's a great way to get your stuff on the web and share it. And you can search other people's stuff, or they can search yours. It doesn't have the ability to connect to every single data type. So some databases, some other more advanced file structures, it doesn't support. Those are reserved for maybe the academic or the actual full-fledged version of Tableau. So we're going to convert this into an Excel spreadsheet first so that the Tableau public can open it. So go ahead and download this, install it, and we'll get started. All right, so assuming that you've downloaded Tableau, the first thing we need to do is actually save this XML file to our computer. So I'm going to right click and save as. I'm going to save it on my desktop, and we'll just, it's named basketball. We'll save it as that. And that's going to put this file on our desktop here. And the next thing I'm going to do is fire up Excel. And you'll notice I've actually opened this before. We're going to browse to our desktop, and we're going to open this file. Now you notice that Excel's asking us here how we want to format it, what we want to do. I tell it to read it as an XML table, and it's going to give you a warning that the file itself doesn't specify how things should be formatted, so Excel is going to take its best guess, which turns out to be pretty good. So if you'll see here, we have an actual filtered list here, just like you would really want it to be anyway. So it does a really good job, and in this case, it's actually nailed it, really. What we'd like to do to make things easier on us going forward, let's go in here and clean these headers up. So you'll notice they have like NS1 and NS2, things like that. That's left over from the XML format, so we'll get rid of that. And we'll get rid of that. So once we're done with this, we'll have the ability to save this as an Excel spreadsheet, and that's something that Tableau natively supports. And actually, let's change this to latitude, and we'll change this one to longitude. So it looks pretty good. And let's look at the data real quick. So we've got the name, and this would be the way if you were local, you might refer to it, meet you at Brady Playground, whatever. This is the actual intersection of the park or the streets that it's on, and it has what's called accessible here, which must mean wheelchair accessible, longitude, latitude, and the number of courts. Now, it's kind of important to look at your data, see what it's telling you. First of all, the number of courts seems like something that's not recorded very often. Sometimes down here we have a few that have that. So that's probably not going to be the best measurement, because a lot of these, maybe they just have one and they don't bother to report. You notice that a lot of them that are reporting have multiple. And then if we look at the wheelchair accessible, we actually have some where there is no indication of whether that's true or not. So we have to remember that when we are plotting our map data, that if we want to highlight the accessible courts, which we will, some of them will not be indicated one way or the other, and those will highlight a different color. So you can tell, hey, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, we don't know. And it looks like at least one of our playgrounds here does not have longitude, latitude. We could go find this in Google Maps. We could pull this playground up and capture the longitude, latitude from the URL out of Google Maps, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it like it is. Oh, there's several. Okay. And we're going to leave those and see what happens. Alright, so let's go ahead and save this as an Excel workbook, and we'll name it basketball. And we're done with Excel, so we can close out of that.